Occasionally, the assistance you want may appear from the most unexpected place. This is the tale of a pregnant woman saved by a group of wolves. You may be wondering how they managed to save her instead of hurting her. You'll be shocked by what happened to her. Since you don't see or hear stories like this very often, I have to admit that if the account hadn't been supported by eyewitnesses, I would have doubted it. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. While most women have a mystical group of skilled professionals at their disposal to assist with childbirth, Mary Krennic's midwives just understood what to do. They completed the task with certainty, having understood what it entailed. Who then assisted her in giving birth? That will come up later. Mary Krennic resides in Talkeetna, Alaska, but her roots are in Minnesota. In her early 20s, she married the love of her life. She was happily married to her husband and desired a large family with plenty of children. Luckily for this too, Mary became pregnant quickly after they started dating. The Alaskan resident was ecstatic to learn she was expecting a child on that day. Her partner was ecstatic when she informed him. Their child would be running around the home in 9 months. It is exciting, isn't it? Mary had the finest type of unremarkable pregnancy. Other than morning sickness, constipation, food cravings, and sporadic mood swings, she experienced no problems. Nothing unusual occurred. Everything went according to plan. When her scan was due, it was 12 weeks into her pregnancy. The couple was excited to find out if they would be having a girl or a boy. After driving to the city's medical facility, the Minnesotan was told to go see the sonographer for her scan. Her test results indicated that a boy would be her child. Her husband was overjoyed to hear that he would be having a son in a few months when she contacted him right away. The 25-year-old was 8 months pregnant in the winter, and the pair had decided that she would only spend time at home during that time. This was a result of the fact that they resided in Alaska, the nation's coldest state. Despite living in one of the state's milder regions, Talkeetna, the cold season still lasts for 4 months, from November to March. But Mary had to leave their house on this January 2014 day, and she had to go into the city to obtain what she needed. There was a snowfall on her route home. Due to the blizzard, it was extremely difficult to see the road, and many of the roads had gotten closed. It had been snowing all night, and there was no sign of it ending anytime soon. There was 40 inches of snow on top of the roadways, but her car broke down and refused to start when she was just a few kilometers from home. She tried everything to get the car to move, but the tires were stuck in the snow. While emergency personnel were concentrating on the highway rather than the less traveled path in the forest, Mary thought that they might be working to remove the snow off the road and would locate her shortly. Her car was almost out of gas, and she couldn't keep it running for much longer, which made the situation much more precarious. The heavily pregnant woman was getting chilly as the snowfall continued to get worse. She was also concerned about the fact that she was lost in the middle of nowhere and that it was growing dark. What would happen if any of the forest's wild creatures assaulted her? Is this too chilly for her infant? Or what happens if she gets lost and it becomes too dark? She kept thinking about these questions. She would find it terrifying to spend the night in this jungle. She got out of the SUV and began to walk. She chose to walk back to the city rather than drive home because it was closer than it was to her residence. The young woman hoped that someone else would be using the road so she could hitchhike, but because most of the routes had been closed, not many people were driving at the moment. Mary had been strolling for around 30 minutes when she began to feel nervous. Though she was only 8 months pregnant and not due for birth for some weeks, she thought that perhaps the discomfort she was experiencing could be labor contractions. But the hurt got worse and worse until it was intolerable. She couldn't move for a while after that, but luckily she spotted a tree and the snow surrounding it was less. After pulling herself over, she took a seat close to the tree. Mary was terrified since she was in a precarious situation and had no idea what to do. She tried contacting her spouse out of desperation, but she was unable to get through. She so got in touch with the one person she thought she could possibly reach out to, God. The girl pleaded for assistance. I suddenly started having these excruciating abdominal pains after walking half a mile, the woman remarked. I was frightened and unsure of what to do. I was just 8 months pregnant. How on earth could I be about to go into labor? However, I had no one to assist me when I went into labor there in the midst of a forest, 2 kilometers from the closest house. She was sitting at the base of the tree when she became asleep due to the discomfort and cold. Do you recall our conversation about our respective midwives? They were just about to come, actually. When a troop of wolves showed there, Mary was instantly asleep. The wild creatures would have enjoyed the pregnant woman as a meal, but guess what? They spared her no harm. Rather, they took an unexpected action. She responded, "I woke up a few minutes later surrounded by a pack of 10 gray wolves." In response to a question concerning the wolves, the pack leader curled up on my back and the rest of them spread out to create a live, breathing blanket over my quivering frame. Isn't that incredible? It seems sense that they would want to consume the expectant mother. Instead, they provided her with consolation. Though the Minnesotan was taken aback by what she saw, her gut told her not to be afraid since she was in capable hands, or claws. Mary went into labor around half an hour after she woke up. You might be surprised to learn who her wet nurses were. "I went into strong labor later and delivered my baby boy," the woman stated. "My wet nurses were the wolves. To make sure that neither my infant nor I felt very chilly, they all knew what to do and where to stay. The wolves, who were all circling and observing me like hawks, were my midwives. They were clearly not planning to hurt me or my child. I had the same treatment as one of the bunch. One of them moved my kid toward me with a snout so I could milk him after they licked my baby clean and cut my umbilical cord with their teeth." The hospitality of the pack astounded the new mother. Her personal guardian angels were a bunch of animals. Her spouse and a few acquaintances had been looking for her during this entire ordeal. He was aware that his spouse ought to have come ages ago. Knowing there were dangerous creatures in the region, he felt that the worst may have happened, so he packed a rifle. After spending some time looking for her, Mary's husband and his companions eventually located her car and followed the footsteps. They were concerned that their biggest dread had come true as they noticed the pack of wolves. After firing 3 shots into the air to chase the wolves away, they were all shocked to see Mary and the baby were safe. They quickly covered her in a blanket and headed to the truck, not having had time to ask any questions. Mary says she thinks the wolves were sent by God to assist her, or else she may not have survived with her child. She wishes to see them again since she views them as family. I looked out the rear window while we drove off. The pack was observing us until we were no longer visible while standing in the snow. "I'll bring my son back to witness the creatures who rescued them," she declared. Who would have guessed that wolves could be so kind? Do you have any such tales of animals carrying out valiant actions? Let me know in the comments. Until we meet again. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.